What is going on, guys? We're
Back at
back.
it again.
Let's get going,
Yeah,
guys.
we're here for UFC London. We had our decent week. Both had some good parlays last week, and now we're here to bring it back. We got UFC London fight night. First time that UFC is going out of the country, really. Well, besides Abu Dhabi, first time the UFC is going back to Europe in a while, like maybe 2 years. And yeah, so let's just dive right into it.
12 bouts tonight. Let's get
Uh,
going. Let's crack this thing open. First fight, we got Muhammad Makaev.
Mahayev
Makaev.
and Cody Durden. I think this is a good way to start the night. Yeah.
This fight, it's kind of hard. They're leaning hard towards Muhammad on this one. I watched a lot of some of his films and other competitions, and when he gets to the harder guys, I guess in those other conferences, or what's it called? I can't think of
Other
the word.
divisions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other fight promotions.
Oh, and other promotions. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's in the other promotions, when he's, I know his last fight he took the guy he was fighting. They went the distance, but also the guy fought on 3 days' notice or 3 weeks' notice. Either way, that's not too much time to get ready for a fight, and he was still able to go the distance with him. I think a lot of people are putting a lot of hope on him, but I feel like Cody Durden's going to come in and handle this one.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at it, we already know that Mahayev 5-0, but has an outstanding amateur record, undefeated in that regard. So he does have cage experience. Cody Durden coming off that win against Rishi Lang, who was um, is one of the more better Chinese fighters. We're not really seeing too many of them that are of that caliber. But I would say him and Zhu Rong, who we'll mention later. Um, yeah, let's just check him out real quick. Mahayev on his UFC debut.
This
He's
is
coming.
this is his first fight,
Yeah, first fight.
so there's nothing even to go off of. It's just a bunch of amateur fights.
Yeah, but I just want to check this out. Like, if you just look at all this, like, this is the experience he has. So people are thinking, going off the hip, thinking that he's 5-0, he's 21 years old. Look at all this experience. This is it's crazy. So 22 amateur fights, 5-0 coming up. Yeah, so everything from the Brave CF champ. So, but if you take a look at Cody Dern, it's all wrestling. I mean, Cody likes to wrestle, American folk style wrestling style. Mokaev, yeah, he's more of that freestyle approach. A little bit limited on the ground, I would say, but that's where I think Cody would succeed on the ground. It's gonna be a tough fight to pick, to be honest. Um, I do want to go with Durden. It's, but I'm gonna stay away from this one. I'm gonna go with Durden though. I am gonna go with underdog on this one as well.
I'm taking Cody. Next fight, let's go. Elise Reed versus Corey McKenna.
Yeah. So hold up. Basically with sure things. Yeah. With this fight, this is it's crazy. You got a real like a Taekwondo fighter and Elise Reed going against. I guess you could I guess you could say she is a grappler. A lot of people seem to sleep on Corey McKenna's hands. I think she is. She has some decent striking. I know a lot of people are looking at Elise being she's not being the taller fighter, but she does have a few more inches. I mean, look at Corey McKenna, 58-inch reach, a little nimble, short arms. But she's coming at a team alpha male. I mean, everyone knows about that one, innit? In it, yeah. I'm getting ready for Top Boy. But Elise Reed, she was a Cage Fury champ. She has some wrestling of her own actually that I don't think many people are aware of. Elise Reed, she can submit you. She hasn't shown it crazy a lot, but she definitely can. Like just like um previous, she has experience in the amateur realm. That's where she was at Cage Warriors, and yeah. But her first fight in the UFC was coming up against Sajara Eubanks. I don't think that was really called for. I don't know how Sajara, being the vet she is, who people up to a certain point were still looking at to be pretty a contender at least still, but they should have never put her in there with Sajara Eubanks. That was a pretty one-sided affair. Um, I think Sajara was like a minus 350 or something in that matchup, if I recall right. But yeah, Corey McKenna coming off that win with Vanessa Demopoulos, which Vanessa Demopoulos has proven to be very she's a stout prospect. I know I didn't say Kay Hansen. That's a weird one. Looking at that fight, I don't know, man. I feel like Kay Hansen actually won that fight. It is what it is. That's why judging female fights, even judging in any fights in general, I don't really rock with. I don't like letting it go to the distance. That's why you leave it out the judge's hands. But it's whatever. Um, so yeah, I would really count that Kay Hansen uh, fight as a split decision loss. But it is what it is because it was pretty even pet for pat to the last flurry that Kay Hansen had in that fight. Besides that, this was this was a. I mean, they both have solid amateur experience in this one, but I think people are going to be surprised at the handwork of Corey McKenna. I've seen, watching film on both of them. Elise Reed, even though she does have the range advantage, and she likes to use that, she throws a lot of body kicks and whatnot. She comes off to me as a little stiff, and as far as the hands go, I don't think she has the same amount of speed that Corey McKenna has. Corey McKenna, she can be sloppy at times, but she does stay aggressive, and she lands some overhand. She can land an overhand. I'll just say that much. This is another close one. I mean, what are your thoughts, Chris?
I'm slapping on McKenna, calling it a day. But if I was taking it as a bet, I'm taking this thing to go the distance.
Yeah, I am gonna go with I'm gonna go with Corey McKenna as well. Elise Reed, being the cage for champ and whatnot, amateur cage, but I don't know. I feel like she's gonna get taken down multiple times. Granted, I think she will be able to pop up to a certain extent and maybe threaten with submissions of her own. But I just think that I think overall Corey McKenna is gonna be able to just stay on the feet and manage it on the feet. Contrary to what many people believe, I think she's gonna be the aggressor on the feet, and that'll kind of mess up Elise's game plan. So there you have it, both on Corey McKenna. Now we go up. Head up to Jack Shore versus Timur Valiev. I mean, what can I say? This is one of the fights that I really was looking forward to, and it's going to be the third one. Starting off right, UFC London, really. Um, yeah, Jack Shore been training since he was like 3 years old. Training with his father. Father at Shore Mixed MMA, and so 5'8", 5'6", 71-inch to 67-inch reach. So off the rip, Jack Shore, much bigger much bigger fighter as far as the reach and the height added up. 18-2 to 15-0. Look at Timur. Timur, if we go back, we saw Trevin Jones compete not too long ago, but this he got knocked out by Trevin. Not, but yeah, he got knocked out. He got put down. He got finished by Trevin Jones in that fight. Of course, Trevin Jones tested positive for marijuana, whatnot. But besides that, his last fight against Hani Barcelos was that was a good fight. That was an interesting fight. I think I did pick Hani to win that fight. I predicted him on that fight actually, and it is what it is. He came through. You can see his last finish.
He's a decision guy.
His last finish came in 2019. Before that, in
Yeah,
2017. So he's
he
not really
he hasn't finished anybody in the UFC.
lost split decision to Chris Gutierrez back in 2016, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, going back this far doesn't even matter. I
No,
just
really.
know that his experience in the UFC, he hasn't knocked anybody out. I think this one,
But all right, so with Jack Shore, let's just Jack Shore is coming off that win against Ludovic Shalinian, I believe, who was I think he was an Ultimate Fighter finalist, I'm pretty sure, or semifinalist. Before that, split decision with Hunter Zori. Both of these guys can wrestle, but I'm gonna say that Jack Shore is gonna be the more aggressive and more efficient wrestler. Um, that Aaron Phillips win finished him. So overall, I'm 4-0 in the UFC already. And I like that Ludovic Shalin. Granted, that was a take that I had Ludovic. I didn't. I had Short winning the fight. I took that to go to the decision. It got a little sketchy at first because it looked like he was about to go out with that arm triangle early on. But Ludovic survived. So as of late, he's been a decision guy. Um, yeah, I'm gonna rock out with Jack Shore as well. We'll get into the props later, but I'm gonna take him to win the fight. All right. Nikita Krylov versus Paul Craig. This is, you know, it's a funny one. I mean, a lot of people are going to be liking Paul Craig. I already know. Look at they're pretty much the same. 6 foot, yep, same height and reach. The minor. Coming off that decision loss against Magomed Ankalaev. Saw that live. Yeah, that was last August. Or, no, October. Yeah, it was October. But yeah, before that, went over Johnny Walker. Look at the people he's fought. 2 losses against 2 champs, Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz, all within the span since like 2018. Um, Besides that, I mean, that's all you can really go off for Nikita Krylov. Nikita Krylov, he likes a submission of his own. So with Paul Craig, I would still say Paul Craig being the more elite, you know, submission threat. I would say it's not just leaps and bounds crazy. I would say as far as positional, um, accelerating and like and having positional awareness, I think Paul Craig has it. But overall, he has some decent wins. Johnny Walker, Orman St. Preux, those haven't really aged that well. So those are his last 2 wins since 2018. But the last fight with Magomed Ankalaev, it wasn't. I mean, we've seen Magomed has turned into a decision machine as well. He's liking to go the distance with these guys. Paul Craig, uh, coming off breaking Jamal Hill's arm in a big upset. He was about, I think, plus 260 in that fight. For that, cashed out with him on a big win over Mauricio Rua to win by knockout. I had that. That was like plus 500, 550 or something. It was crazy. And then, of course, they had that draw back in 2019. But he's also fighting. I mean, Paul Craig he's fought. He has a win over Magomed Ankalaev. Granted, he was getting destroyed the whole fight, but I mean, I think that shows some sort of durability in him, and that he still is always looking to the for the finish until the bell rings. But yeah, just a list of competition off the bat. I mean, getting finished by Khalil Roundtree, not crazy. That submission loss to Jimmy Crute was kind of absurd. Finished by Alonzo Menafield. But it seems like all these type of finishes, like these matchups, these stylistic matchups, is really selective on how it's gonna go. It really all depends. Um, will Nikita Krylov have the striking advantage on the feet? I think so. Not by a crazy amount. And Paul Craig is gonna be wanting to. He's gonna be wanting to fight off of his back. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls guard. If he does get chipped up a little bit, he might try to pull guard. Go for the takedown. If he gets dropped, he's going to immediately get into guard position and just baiting him to come down. We'll see if Nikita falls into that trap. My official prediction, I mean, what are you thinking, Chris? Let's see. Let's see how you fare before I let mine be known. The Scot versus the Ukrainian. And I don't want to hear about the plot armor. Oh, he might have plot now. There's a few plot armor scenarios in this, but yeah.
I'm thinking Paul Craig.
Paul Craig by submission. That would be that is the way to go. I would say if you like Paul Craig, this is a 50-50 for me. Um, Gosh, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Nikita Krylov. I think that he will be able to because Paul's not gonna really be too offensive as far as like taking the back on the cage. He's gonna be wanting to get this to the ground. I think Nikita will he'll do his best to keep it off the ground. Will he get taken down? He might, but I don't think he'll be unless like I said, unless he's it just falls right into like just the trap of Paul Craig. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Nikita Krylov, and I'm gonna go ahead to win. Well, I think this will be against the props later, but the predictions Nikita Krylov for me.
Let's bust it down to the next one, yeah.
All right, the heavyweights, big boys, Shamil versus Sergey. What are you thinking? Being that you are the heavyweight.
I mean, at the end of the day, um, Shamil does have a lot of experience on the table right here. You know, he's coming through, maybe weighing a couple pounds more. It really doesn't make too much of a difference in terms of like the real difference right here is the reach. I think that Sergey is going to pick him apart if it's stand up. But I do know that Shamil has some experience with some submissions, I believe. Whoa, that boy's been getting knocked.
Well, with that Chris Dawkins fight, that was
Wait, never mind. I mixed that up. Nah, yeah, this guy's getting beat. This guy Shamil's getting beat. I already know it. Wait, I didn't mean to skip back. Yeah, I think this is on the feet. I don't think he'll be able to keep up with Sergey.
yeah. So if we look at Shamil, that with that Chris Dawkins loss that we just saw, he was arguably winning that fight until he wasn't. He was having a lot of success on the feet. Um, and just got caught. Yeah, got caught with the cross. Got finished. Before that, finished by Curtis Blades. These wins were back in like 2018, 2019. You can't really say too much because well, not both of them. Marcin Tybura has grown a little bit more substantially than Andrei Arlovsky, but these are still nonetheless decent wins. Um, the fact that he finished Tybura was impressive too. Chase Sherman finished. He's losing to Derek Blades, getting knocked out by Derek Blades and Curtis Lewis. Um, yeah, so he's been knocked out. He's been knocked out 3 times. Finished 4 times, a total of 4 times. We see he got submitted. Tony Lopez back in the WUFC days. Anthony Hamilton. If you're like 35, I guess you would know him.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I definitely just go with Sergey. I feel like this is probably Sergey's one of those prospects they're trying to get up so that they can start doing stuff with him. This one's
with Sergey, his last fight was in 2019. We got to see how that layoff affects him. Shamil's now. This is the thing: is Sergey a better striker than Chris Dawkins? I would say no. I would say Sergey, he probably possesses some more power, but he likes to leave his chin wide open. He kind of punches. He can punch wild and kind of open at times. That finish he had against Maurice Green, who we know from the Ultimate Fighter. Maurice Green, he was good for a little while. Ended up being a bust in my opinion. Um, Absolutely destroyed Marcelo Gomez. Got finished by Alistair Overeem back in 2018, and this is the thing. That's not far off from where his last fight was. So that layoff, we'll see how that affects him. See how the gas tank is holding up. Let me just check these. Let me just check their sizes real quick.
they're basically the same size. Sergey just has more reach.
Yeah, so they're Samsung. Yeah, that's a crazy reach advantage. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think at plus 240, there would be value on Shamil. We'll just see it. I don't know. I do think the reach is going to be a problem, definitely. Much longer reach than Chris Dawkins had, so he won't really even have to get inside that much. He can just tag him, from a distance. I do like Sergey Pavlovich here. Um, I do. I mean, of course, I got to go by finish. If this goes, if this goes over 1.5, I mean, Shamil would be the more experienced fighter in distance fights because if you just look at Sergey, everything's round one.
I don't
One,
know.
two decision wins.
For
So
me,
that's three decision wins total. So he's been in those were all 3 round fights.
forget all
Um,
those. Those are all what's in the older
yeah, but
stuff.
as far as mad experience goes, I would give it to Shamil. I am gonna go with Sergey though to win by finish.
I think the haircut says enough.
I think I would personally stay away from this,
Pop that, Sergey. Don't stay away.
but
Rock with
yeah.
me.
Oh no, this is a ancient. Next up, we have Mike Grundy versus Makwan Mirkani. Now, both of these are really are both of these fighters are going to approach it.
Losers.
Both of them are going to approach it as far like with a wrestling background, wrestling exchanges. I would think they would try to. I think they both can get takedowns of their own. As far as on the feet goes, I would give the edge to Mike Grundy. Um, he's shown to be a little bit more tight with his guard, a little bit more precise. Makwan, people know that he got that finish 8 seconds. That was a while ago. Just got finished by Lerone Murphy,
Dang.
and that was in that fight. Um, Makwan won the first round. He, there's no question about it. He won the first round, got his takedown, submission threats, was controlling Lerone the whole time, and then he just comes out, gets kneed, gets finished. Just pretty much a freak accident, not accident, but just happened. Before that, decision lost to Kamala Kirk, decision lost to Edson Barbosa. So he's fought. He's all these losses are coming to some of the best of the best back in the day. This Arnold Allen split decision loss, and people were saying even I was saying that he should have won that. So Chris Fishgold, that was a great win. That was a great finish for Makwan. Um, but yeah, if you just look, Makwan's experience is there. 33 years old. Go check out Mike Lundy. He is coming off of a no, it was a loss. Yeah, it was that split decision loss to Lando Venata. I think Lando's getting takedowns of his own in that fight as well. I just think Lando's that dude, that New Jersey zone. I like Lando, and with Mozart Evloev, who is a lot of people are high on Mozart right now. He took Mozart down like 4 times, 4 or 5 times. Yeah, so granted, Mozart's not the craziest of grapplers, but put it this way, he's 1-2 in the UFC. Makwan does have the experience. This is another tough one, but if we just let me just see their sizes one more time. So Makwan's going to be the much bigger fighter as far as leg reach and height goes. Both have the same arm reach. So with this fight, they both can submit each other. If I'm being honest, this is another close one. I'm gonna go with Mike Grundy because I think the wrestling of Mike Grundy is a little bit more explosive and more technical than Makwan. Makwan more likes to take a submission wrestling approach. So yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mike Grundy uh get a submission of his own, a submission win against Makwan. But I'm gonna go with Mike Grundy. Your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with the favorite for this one too. better looks overall.
Indeed.
Yeah, I feel like for the other dude, Makwan, he got that knee. Then after that, it got to his head. That boy's been getting blasted. Jay Herbert.
Yeah. So Jai Herbert versus Ilia Topuria. This might be one of my favorite.
I felt
This
this one.
might be
This
one
one's
of
gonna
my
be
more favorite
This is
fights.
gonna be an easy one.
All right. So yeah, go ahead. Give me your thoughts on
I mean, I just have Taporia. I just know he's right. That man right now, he's steamrolling through stuff. That man's coming in hot. I believe this is the one where I took it for submission. I'm not sure. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, so I have this one actually by him by KO slash the double chance one, KO or submission. I have high hopes for Taporia. I don't know. I just feel like that man, he's coming out hot. He's definitely a shorter fighter with a smaller reach, but at the end of the day, that could come with some power when they really have to go inside and get it going.
it. Yeah. So with this, I mean, first things first is Ilia Topuria is a featherweight. He's coming up to 155. His first fight at 155. We're gonna see how that goes. The reach advantage is crazy. Jai Herbert's much bigger fighter. Ilia Topuria is, was it the Ryan Hall? I think that was his last fight. It was against Ryan Hall. Yeah, his last fight was against Ryan Hall, and then he finished Damon Jackson and decision win over Yusef Zalal. 3-0 in the UFC. His best win is probably going to be Damon Jackson. Um, Ryan Hall is just, I mean, it's weird. Ryan Hall is just weird. Like I don't know what he was doing with all the seminary roles. Um, I mean, if you he was doing them like over and over and over again. But Jai Herbert, on the other hand, he's a little experienced of it, of his own right. So take a look at Jai coming off that knockout win against Kama Worthy. Yeah, before that he did get, but in both of these fights against Trinaldo and Moicano, and especially in that Moicano fight, um, Jai Herbert was really letting his hands go. He was tagging Moicano at big time. Of course, ended up giving up his back, and we know how that went from there. But yeah, so Jai's coming in at 1-2 in the UFC. Um, Before that amateur, if he was a 4-0 amateur, that doesn't really matter. That Reese McKee, he got finished by Reese McKee back in 2016. All right, I was back, younger days, whatnot. People might call me crazy, but I like Jai Herbert here, man. Ilya he's tough on the feet too, but Jai is crispy on the feet, man. He lets those hands go. The range is going to be a problem first and foremost. Like even with the Ryan Hall fight, Ilia Topuria versus Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall was taller, but I think Ryan Hall was only like 5'8" or 9. So, but he's dealing with a 6'1" fighter with a massive reach advantage, who knows how to throw hands and is a grappler. He has good takedown defense. I can say I'll put it that way. But yeah, I like Jai Herbert. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jai Herbert knockout. Um, but I'm not saying this is my lock of the night, but this is definitely one of my underdogs. This is my underdog of the night, and I like Jai here at fuck. What is it? I think it was at plus 400 now, plus 300. My bad. So yeah, I like Jai here, man. I like to see the Black Country Banger get it on, and I like to see him start climbing his way back up there. Climbing his way up now officially. So we're gonna be split on that one. Yeah, mind you, Ilia Topuria had that little incident with Patty Pimblett, and he's pretty much just getting rolled all over the media. We'll see how that affects him. mean, a couple things, but yeah.
That boy Patty was giving him the beats, Molly McCann, for number 8.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so we got Molly McCann, Luana Carolina. Both of these fighters coming off of underdog wins. Both of them were underdogs in their last fights, which is it's always nice to see that. Two dogs going at it, you could say. Where, I don't want to look at that, but yeah. So look at the height and reach. People would think that Luana's crazy tall. She's not. She has a really impressive reach for a woman in her
He has a
division.
nice reach.
And but yeah, five Molly, little meatball, 5'4", a little stubby. I don't now. Luana Carolina is not she is a she's not black. Is she? She might be a
This is
black
what
belt.
I'm saying. We're slamming that thing on Molly McCann, aka Meatball, because she came with my boy Patty. If that boy Patty says lock it in, you lock it in.
So, all right, yeah, but you know, Luana Carolina is a striker. Not really good off her back. She's training in jiu-jitsu and whatnot. Molly McCann coming off that win, who I think, first of all, let me just say this. Luana Carolina is coming off that impressive win over Lupita Godinez, which she absolutely, after that first round, Lupi was pretty much looking kind of frustrated and wasn't really able to get anything going. Did lose to that weird knee bar finish and against Ariana Lipsky, but in 2020. Decision went over Priscilla Cachoeira, and yeah, I mean, with
No,
Molly coming off the real, this is what I wanted to say. Molly coming off that real good win over Ji Yeon Kim, and we see how devastating Ji Yeon Kim can be with the hands. I'm gonna be honest, Ji Yeon Kim is actually a little bit scary with the hands. Just like when you see her connect, it's kind of it's stiffening, it's petrifying. Put it that way. Molly McCann, but besides that, Ji Yeon Kim, she was on a two fault losing a skid, and decision, but she has that decision went over Ariana Lipsky. Granted, there's not much to take over. There's no, this MMA math stuff doesn't really matter, especially the fact that she got Ariana finished uh, Luana in the first round. But yeah, she has the win over Priscilla Cachoeira. So she's fought competition. Even Vanessa Mello back in the day. It shows you how the level of competition she's been fighting for a few years. Overall, you know, Lupi Godinez was able to take down um, Luana. She took her down multiple times. She didn't really have that much success as far as keeping her down. But in my opinion, I think Molly McCann is an elevated version of Lupi Godinez as far as the wrestling goes. Um, a little bit Meatball can get a little feisty with the hands as well. But I'm gonna pick Molly McCann to win this fight. Very well. All right, so next up we have Gunnar Nelson versus Takashi Sato.
all right, going into this one, we got Gunny. We got Gunny versus Takashi. I mean, that boy Gunner is coming off 2 losses right now. Let's get into that first. Busting this down, he lost to Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards. That's two very good opponents. I think overall, his whole record is kind of blotchy though. He's still young though. I don't think he reached his prime. As for Takashi Sato, aka 10, my man's coming in. You know, he's been in the UFC for a little bit. He's gotten some fights, but he hasn't been fighting like Gunnar Nelson's been fighting. I think let's check out their sizes now. You know, in terms of weight, that really doesn't matter. An inch really doesn't matter at that height. and pretty much these guys are built pretty much the same. For this one though, I'm definitely gonna take Gunnar Nelson. Actually, no, nah, 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 nah. Actually, no, no, yeah, I'm taking Gunnar Nelson. I'm taking Gunnar Nelson. He's just fought better competition, so it looks blotchy over there for these past recent ones. But I think you could take the chance on Gunnar.
Yeah, so let's just take a quick look at Takashi Sato. At first, I thought he was. Oh, is this the guy that fought? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, fought 2020. Both, first of all, both of them are coming off somewhat layoffs. Gunner's coming off a little bit more of a layoff. Miguel Baeza lost that triangle choke, which in that fight, uh, he just got dropped in that. Exposed himself. I mean, it was weird. But before that, nice first round finish, 48 seconds against Vanilla Gorilla and Jason Witt. Um, he's getting submitted. This guy's getting submitted without a doubt. Like that's probably his kryptonite. Just looking at it, but overall not a bad record. 16-4, good win over Ben Saunders, and yeah. But the main thing with this dude, just like Gunner, still 2020 is still it was a long year and a half, some change. If you look at Gunner, Gunner's the vet. I mean, everyone knows Gunner. I mean, he's been fighting in the UFC for almost a decade. Yeah, about a decade now. And if you start where he fought, in that debut against Demarcus Jackson, really, that's when that was a just a crazy performance in that short amount of time. That's what really set the light on him. And then went on to beat a really good Omari Akhmedov back in 2014. And yeah, from there, just fighting the best of the best going up. Uh, Controversial loss to Rick Story back in 2014. Remember that? High school days. And yeah, Damian Maya doesn't really hold any weight anymore, but this is just to show you, because that was back in 2015. This is just to show you that he's been fighting the big names and the most elite since he's joined the UFC. Like that submission win over Alan Juban. Impressive. So yeah, just based off the experience, he hasn't fought since 2019 in that decision loss to Gilbert Burns. Not far off from the last time Takashi fought. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna pick Gunner to win this fight as well. That's gonna be my prediction for this. Now,
We got that boy
next up,
Patty Pimblett versus Rodrigo Vargas. Rah, let's go. They're definitely pushing it heavy favor for Patty just because everyone's been loving him. They're trying to make Patty a star right now. This Let's check that boy Rodrigo's past bouts.
yeah, well, Rodrigo's his last fight that was against Zhu Rong. That's what I wanted to get into because we saw Zhu Rong fight against Ignacio, and everyone's been big on Zhu Rong. He still has a lot of potential. 21 years old. Granted, he wasn't really doing much in that fight against Ignacio. He had a few moments where it looked like he was getting to rock Ignacio. But overall, Ignacio just controlled that fight, and Ignacio is a very very good fighter. But before that, lost to Brock Weaver. Uh, Stupidly, I mean, it is what it is. Got disqualified in a fight that you could argue, he's potentially winning. It was a close fight though, but he's overall 1-2 in the UFC coming in. I think this is just set up. Before that, fighting in Combate, Mexican promotion. Yeah, but this is just I think this is just a promo fight for Patty Pimblett. Uh, I don't know why they're giving him minus 600 odds in the second fight in the UFC, but I could see him being a minus 250.
That boy Patty has plot armor.
But yeah, I like Patty in this fight. It's I went with Patty in a in this last fight. Granted, in that last fight with Patty, let's just because we just want to make this be known. First of all, Patty is a Cage Warriors champion. We're not just speaking out of our arse. UFC London tuna. But in that Luigi Vendramini fight, um, he did get rocked. Well, he didn't even get rocked. He got hit with a crazy. I think it was a left. It was a left that really clipped him, and it looked scary for a second. Um, and he was kind of feeling himself out. Luigi was having a lot of success, really pushing the pace. I think that was just really a feeling out process. But before that, what I like is just these flying submission attacks that no one knows about. These flying triangle chokes and flying arm bars, triangle arm bars. I mean, people tuning in would think Patty's Conor McGregor, the next Conor McGregor finisher, knockout artist. No, he's not. He's really a submission threat. Um, well, he's a finisher, but I think he's more of a submission threat than he's a knockout artist. He was just able to really lay it down on Luigi. But I like Patty Pimblett in this fight to win. Yeah, pretty easy. I would say if I had a lock of the night, it would be Patty Pimblett, but the value is not there.
We got that boy Arnold Allen versus Dan the Hookman with the Hangman Hooker.
So for this fight, this is, I
So
mean,
that boy Allen, he hasn't fought in a little bit. Let's go down to his profile a
well,
little bit.
Arnold Allen fought not too long ago against Sadiq Youssef. And he was an underdog actually in that fight. So he fought about a year ago, you could say. So it's about 11-month layoff.
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing too crazy. He
Um,
hasn't been. He's back to it though. This man's moving. A lot of people aren't really trying to take fights with him right now. I think this boy Allen. I think he's something. Dan Hooker though, he's not. He's definitely a good fighter. There's nothing against Dan Hooker in my opinion. I also just know that these guys are going to be going. Let me get back to that page. These guys are going to be going at a lower weight. Lower weight. So let's see how that goes for Dan Hooker with him having to cut.
so yeah, with this fight, both of these are ranked. Well, they're ranked fighters, you could say. Dan Hooker's still ranked at lightweight, which is, I mean, we'll see if he actually commits to 145. But with that Sadiq Youssef win, that was huge because he was actually an underdog in that fight. I remember, picked him up. That was easy, and he completely outclassed Sadiq in that fight. But he's been a decision machine as of late. I mean, this choked out Mads Burnell, who was who's really on the scene in Bellator until he did lose just recently, about 2 weeks ago. But has a split win over Marquand Amirkhani. So his experience is still there. He's been in the UFC for a while as well. He's been in the UFC since 2015. So he definitely has octagon experience. With Dan Hooker, on the other hand, Dan Hooker's been around a little bit longer than your boy. He's been around since 2014. So I mean, the resume for Dan Hooker, he's coming in a little bit older. He's 32. I think Arnold's like 28, 29. Two of his last fights, two of his last five fights have been wins, and they were against Nasrat and Paul Felder. Before that, he was on a 3-fight. Well, he was on a 3-fight winning streak. Ali Quinta, a good win. James Vick was a good finish. James Vick was talking kind of crazy as well. And yeah, but look at the competition's always been there. I don't really have to go too much in depth about it. Everyone knows who Dan Hooker is. But the thing we have to remember is, I know people are worried about his weight cut. He's been working on this weight for the past 6 months, and remember that he originally started at featherweight. So, and he was having success there. I mean, Dan Hooker even has a win over Gilbert Burns, and that's at lightweight. So, with Arnold Allen, I don't know. Arnold Allen's he's not finishing Dan Hooker. I mean, granted, Mike Chandler, that was just a pretty much a lucky shot flurry. If Dan would have kept eating him up with those leg kicks and came up with those middle knees, he would have had more success. That happens. Islam, People are saying he's the champion. Got finished pretty quickly though. Verbal tap with that Kimura. I don't know, man. I don't see if anyone's getting finished, it's gonna be Arnold Allen. However, I do see this fight going the distance in a 3-round fight, and I like Dan Hooker to win.
I'm taking Allen. And then the fight of the night. I don't know. For this one, I think it says itself. It's a quick heavyweight fight. Two very good fighters, but Tom Aspinall obviously has a lot less experience on the professional mat than Volkov.
Mhm.
You know, these guys are two big guys. 6'7" versus 6'5". When you start getting to that height, those inches do make the difference. Volkov has a little distance, but Tom does have that power. He's coming in hot, and he's trying to make his way up the board. What I mean, yeah. I think for this one, either way, I know the public knows too. This is an absolute steal right now with these betting odds taking him at a +100. I would even try, test the waters right now for Tom Aspinall and put a little parlay on the side with a knockout.
Yeah, well, Tom, those odds are a little off right now because Tom is at -130. But I still, if you're on Tom Aspinall, that is great value for Tom Aspinall as of nowadays. It's just about, I mean, Volkov's only he's not really been finished. Last time he was finished was against Derek Lewis, I believe. Yeah, and that was in a fight that he was dominating that fight. Everyone knows it. Was dominating that fight. Derek Lewis, Hail Mary knockout. Um, I didn't like the fact that he had a decision win over Greg Hardy. It was a dominant win, but I don't like it. Decision loss to Curtis Blades, and his last loss was against Cyril Gahn, who just fought for the heavyweight championship and performed well to an extent. But he's finishing some heavy hitters, man. Walt Harris, even Alistair Overeem, even though he's there's not that much value in him anymore. Back going back to like 2016, all this win streak right here, pretty much all legends for the most part. But yeah, he's only been finished 3 times, and well, 4 times. He's been finished 4 times, by not two by knockout, two by submission. Has a lot of 5-round experience. Um, and Tom Aspinall is the smaller dude, but does he pack a bigger punch than Volkov? Maybe. We'll have to really see. I mean, Tom Aspinall's last fight was against Shamil, who's fighting on this undercard, and he was getting a little bit controlled by Shamil up until that he finished him, and before that, well, no, was it? No, I'm thinking about Chris Dawkins. Oh my God, his last fight was against Sergey Spivak. That was a dominant win. I actually had the over 1.5 on a ticket that I cashed out before it happened. Thank God, because that was crazy. I mean, Sergey looked scared going to that fight, and he was backing up a lot, running at one point. So that pretty much solved it. And that was right on the half round mark too. Before that, submitted Andrei Arlovsky round two, which is probably that's the farthest he's went against him. And that was Andre's not even like I said. Andre has improved in the last 3 years, 2 years since people said he started to fall off. He's starting to bring his name back. But other than that, Alan Badeau and Jake Alan Badeau's not even. We just saw Alan Badeau fight, and it was pretty sloppy against Park Porter. Yeah, it was a pretty sloppy performance.
Porter throws down.
Yeah, I guess you could say Porter does have some notable underdog upset wins too. So, but yeah, he's 4-0 in the UFC. Um, one win over a ranked fighter, and that's Sergey Spivak, who's ranked only. If I just check that right now, I think he's ranked high, or above 10. Must be 11 maybe. All right, so 1 second. So Sergey's ranked number 15 right now. That's what I'm saying. That's his only ranked win. Tom's ranked number 11. Volkov's at number 6. Volkov has wins over fighters that are still in the rankings to this day. Tabora. Walt Harris is still in the rankings. So, yeah, man. He has, I would say, you can count it as a win against Derek Lewis until he got knocked out. You know, this is a lot closer than people might want to make it seem. A lot of people, if we just go and look at the submitted answers
I'm going.
survey, look at that.
I'm going with the
Everyone thinks he's
Aspinall
getting
knockout
knocked
as
out.
well, just because it's not like Aspinall's just a random fighter off the streets. He's been practicing with pros for a good chunk of his life.
Yeah, based off this, I mean, it's going one or two ways. This is one or two ways. Aspinall's going to get him out of there early, really finish him, first, second round maybe. But this is a 5 round fight. He's never been out of the second. So if this goes past the third, we're going to see if he does have conditioning. And I do believe that I think this might get into the third round. This this is a tough one, but I am gonna go with Tom Aspinall. Um, it's really close though. I mean, Volkov can drag this fight out and just chip away with the range, and yeah. But I am gonna just slightly lean towards Tom Aspinall. I do think he does get the finish. Um, yeah, it's crazy, man. So
Now let me put together a little parlay for you guys. I already know the heater. I have it ready for you boys
I got a
and
couple
ladies.
parlays as well.
We're gonna take Tom Aspinall by knockout or decision. We're gonna take Cody Durden outright. We're taking Jack Shore outright. And to top that off, we're throwing on that I'd say Taporia. Let me bring up the thing for that. The odds.
Yeah, so I'm liking is that's four legger, right?
Yep.
What are the odds on that?
Putting it together right now. I forgot what it was last time. So we're taking Jack Shore, which they just moved Jack Shore to a minus 105. Of course, we're taking Cody Durden outright. We're taking Tora. We're taking my other boy by knockout, Tom Aston. So with the Jack Shore outright, Cody Durden outright, Taporia outright, and Tom Aspinall to win by KO, we're looking at plus 2,393. So putting down 20 is going to get you paid out 498. I'd say for this, throw down a nice 10 and let it ride. Even a five will give you some justice.
Indeed. Yeah, so I like Patty Pimblett inside the distance to win by finish. I think we could toss that on there. I like Jack Shore to win and over 1.5. rounds. Also, I like for the Mike Grundy and Makwan and Murakami fight. Something's telling me I should take that under, and I think I'm gonna trust my gut and take that under at plus 175. And yeah, and then I want to really send it with Jai Herbert on this one, but I want to because I know people aren't gonna like that. That would really put it through the roof. I really wanted to send it with Jai, but I'm not gonna do that. Instead, for the Alexander Volkov and Tom Aspinall fight, I'm gonna go ahead and just pop in the over 1.5. Yeah, I'm just gonna pop in over. I definitely think it goes over 1.5. So I think that's that. Yeah, I don't want to go 2.5, even though there's not crazy value there. It's a 4 leg parlay. So once again, Paddy Pimblett to win by finish, Jack Shore to win and over 1.5, Mike Grundy versus Makwan Mirikandi under 2.5, and Volkov versus Aspinall over 1.5. Yeah, we promise to keep these people's. This is a people's parlay. We promise to keep these 4 leggers uh at plus 1,000 odds. I got it at plus 97 right now. It's a tough card. It is. It's tougher than a lot of people might expect, man. But you go ahead and just for reference, put $20 on that. You win 215. And if you want to get crazy, throw Jai Herbert on there. If you really want to get crazy. But that's the 4 legger I'm going to go with. And you got any underdog parlay?
No, I'm good for the parlay on my side. I threw out my four for the week. Let's see how that thing rides.
All right, name your 4 again.
So we're rocking with Jack Shore, Cody Durden, Taporia, and Tom Aspinall to win by knockout. If you want to be safer, do knockout or decision.
Yeah, and I just wanted to see something. Yeah. So that's what I like. So we gave out the parlays. I did want to make this real quick. Um, if you really want to get crazy, I'm gonna give you a quick 6 leg parlay that you can just put some light on. Go with Jack Shore money line, Paul Craig money line, Jai Herbert money line, and Volkov money line. That's a dog parlay that you can go send. Other than that, good luck on your bets. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We're gonna see if we can keep this streak going.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Enjoy your night, guys. Let's get to the bets. Whoa.
I'm good.
Ah.
How's everyone doing?